On the 4th of April, the Supreme Court gave a decision directing that elections be held in Punjab on the 14th of May. The Supreme Court decision contained an election schedule and various deadlines were stipulated in the decision. However, these deadlines have not been complied with. Resolutions have been passed rejecting the court verdict. The National Assembly has refused to release the funds for the elections, and the Defence Ministry has now taken the plea that due to the security situation in the country, elections should be held together with those of the National Assembly, which are scheduled to take place in October. Now, in this regard, the court was hearing various applications and various petitions which had been filed in court. And first, the matter of the funds of the elections came up, and the State Bank of Pakistan took the position that it had allocated the funds for the elections. The Election Commission, however, said that it had not yet received the funds. And the Finance Division said that the Cabinet sent the matter to the National Assembly, who had refused to release the funds for the elections. And the court, however, held that the Finance Division was authorized to release the funds for the elections as had been ordered by the court, that the 21 billion must be released, and that essentially the Finance Division couldn't hide behind Parliament. And in this regard, the court also asked the Attorney General whether the government commands the confidence of the majority of the National Assembly, because the government should be able to pass financial measures that it puts before the National Assembly. And the Attorney General said that the government does command the confidence of the majority of the National Assembly. And the court said, well, if that's the case, the funds for the elections should be released, and at the very latest by the 27th of April. And the Defence Ministry had also filed a plea, and in this plea the Defence Ministry said that due to the security situation in the country and various counter-terrorism operations that were taking place, the election should be delayed till October and held with those of the National Assembly. Now, the implications of what the Defence Ministry was saying are far-reaching, and it would mean that elections in the country are made subject to a near-perfect security situation in the country, and it is quite clear that democracy cannot be made contingent or subject to the situation in the country. And the court rightly rejected the Defence Ministry's plea and said that it was not maintainable, as the matter relating to elections had already been finally decided. And now it is quite clear that various members of the government and various ministries are not complying with the court decision. And now what can the court do? And it is quite clear that during his tenure as Chief Justice, Umar Ata Bandial has very sparingly used contempt powers, and even in this case the Chief Justice and various members of the bench have made clear that all they are trying to do is enforce and implement their decision. However, when there is a willful disobedience and a willful refusal to comply with the court decision, it is the court is left with little choice. And in this regard, the court order also states that the Attorney General is to inform the Cabinet and the Prime Minister about releasing the funds for the elections. So if the government still refuses to comply with the decision, members of the Federal Cabinet and the Prime Minister could be held in contempt of court. And as we've seen in the Yusuf Raza Gilani case, this can lead to a disqualification of 5 years. And the government cannot take shield behind the National Assembly and behind Parliament, because directions have been issued to the Cabinet, to the Prime Minister, and to specific ministries. And it is also important to point out that the legitimacy of the court and the sanctity of the court depends on individuals accepting court verdicts. And when you reject court verdicts or you refuse to accept them, the entire system disintegrates, and no system can function like this, because tomorrow everybody will say that, oh, we don't accept a court decision, or we are also not complying with the court decision. And this government would do well to remember that the only reason that it is in power is because of a court decision, and a court decision that this Chief Justice, they are now maligning, was part of the bench. And another petition was also filed in the court regarding holding a political dialogue. And the court said that there is merit in the question of holding a political dialogue, but also emphasized on the importance that dialogue should not be able to override a constitutional provision.